Chapter 11, Section 7 is entitled Slope-Intercept Form. Slope-intercept form is defined by the form y equals mx plus b. Now, in that equation, the only two things that are going to show up as numbers will be m and b. Now, you're already familiar with m. M represents slope. That's one of the definitions for slope we learned last Thursday. That question didn't seem to throw many of you on the quiz. You all seemingly got that right, except for maybe a few. B is a new meaning, but not a new concept. B represents the y-intercept, where the graph crosses the y-axis at. We plotted the y-intercept when we did the intercepts method with standard form. Remember, that's when we plotted one on here and one on here. All right, we've done that. We just didn't call it B before. Right. X and Y. X and Y represent an ordered pair. An ordered pair is, of course, a solution that makes the equation true. Again, it's defined by y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope, b represents the y-intercept, and x and y represent an ordered pair, which is an equation that makes the solution that makes the equation true. All right, as you can see, as I'm going to do a lot with this section or this chapter, there's a test problem there for you, one that's already been solved out with all the steps for you. So let's go through that. The test problem is y equals 2x minus 3. Step 1, something you've done many times before. You're supposed to change subtraction into adding the opposite. Change subtraction into adding the opposite. So instead of 2x minus 3, it's going to change into 2x plus negative 3. Right? And that's helpful for us, or at least it will be helpful for us when we do the rest of slope-intercept form. Maybe not so much today, but you're going to have to trust me that that's going to make your life easier eventually. Step 2, you're going to write slope as a fraction if it isn't already. Slope is always what shows up in front of the x, that number that's right in front of the x. Remember, slope is defined as rise over run. Well, if it's not a fraction, then everything is just going to have rise to it, and that's going to be a problem because every line is just going to be a line that goes up and down, and that's not worth me teaching it for a day. Slope is rise over run. So this thing here, this 2, has to get written as a fraction. You know how to write 2 as a fraction if it gets written as 2 over 1. Step 3, you're going to plot b on the vertical axis. Positives go up, negatives go down, and we start at the origin. Plot b on the vertical axis. Positives go up, negatives go down, start at the origin. B is that very last number. So it's this negative 3 thing. That's the first thing you have to plot. That's always going to be on the line that goes up and down, the y-axis. So if you don't have a dot on that line to start, you've already screwed up. So since it's negative 3, I'm going to start at the origin and go down 3, put a dot. Step 4, moving from or starting at B, you plot the slope, the rise over the run. Moving from or starting at B, plot the slope, the rise over the run. So the slope here is 2 over 1. Okay, it's the number in front of x. So from this point, you would rise 2, the top number's rise, and then you're going to run 1, which is what you see they did here. They went up 2 and over 1. Put your other dot, connect, and you're done. This should be, when it's all said and done, much, much, much faster than doing the table method. Should be. example 1. Okay? Y equals 1/4 x plus 5. All right, two things we've got to worry about first. Does this say plus? Yes, it does, so that's good. Also, is slope a fraction? Slope is a fraction. It says 1/4, so that's good. Okay, so then we can plot b. B here is 5, so that means I'm going to start at the origin and go up 5. And then I plot my slope. My slope here is 1/4. That means I'm going to rise 1 and run 4 from here. So I'm going to rise 1 and run 4. There you go. Okay, Caleb, what?
How do you know to go up? Like,
For the 5 or for the slope?
for the 4. Like, it's over 4 and then up what?
Up 1 and over 4. Top number is always this way, Kaylee.
Okay.
Rise. Second number is always run this way. Shelby.
Can you show me how you got the second one again?
Second one. The slope here is 1/4. 1 over 4. So from here I rose 1 and then I ran 4. Okay, let's go to example 2, down at the bottom. Y equals -x plus 7. Okay, so two things we got to check. We got to make sure it says plus. It does, we're good. We've got to make sure there's a fraction in front of x. Now, there's a problem. We don't have anything there. Remember, you know this by now. If there's nothing in front of a variable, it's like there's a 1 there. So I can stick a 1 in there. Now, I don't want just 1 though, because 1 isn't a fraction. It has to be written as a fraction. So I actually want 1 over 1. And you knew that. We've done that many times this year. Now, there was also a negative in front of that, so we're not just going to treat it as 1 over 1. It's going to be -1 over 1. Okay, so plus we've got slope as a fraction. We're ready to go. So first thing we look at this last number, this 7, which is the y-intercept. That means I'm going to go up 7 and put a dot. Then I look at the slope. The slope is -1 over 1. That means I'm going to rise -1. Now when I say rise -1, what I really mean is you're going to go down 1, and then you're going to run 1. So I'm going to go down 1 and right 1. There you go.